You're muted.
I gotta join again. Can you see me?
Yes, I can see you.
How's everybody?
Yeah, I put it to where you could see. Good. How are you doing?
I'm well.
I muted Charlie's iPad, but for some reason I can still hear it. Maybe I'll turn it off. I don't understand it.
Yeah, you're getting a lot of feedback.
Okay. I still hear it.
There you go. Uh-oh.
Yeah, but I can still hear it.
Yeah, me too.
I look like I just got up out of bed. All right. Let's see what his volume. Okay. I turned his volume off on his.
Okay.
Maybe that's what it is. No, the volume was turned all the way up. That's
Did you
why.
get that agenda that I sent?
Yes, I did.
So it's pretty skippy, but you know, if you want to add anything, or obviously, or if anybody else has other announcements or anything, I figure.
Okay. Well, I mean, I sent kind of out an agenda too, but it's very much like what yours is. Did you get mine that I sent out yesterday?
I don't think I did.
I sent it out about 10:30 last night.
Was it on the discussion group, or was it in an email?
I sent it in an email.
Okay.
So.
Oh, let's see.
So, yeah, I guess it was because the volume was turned up on his iPad. That's why it was making all that noise, even though he was muted. You could still hear what I was saying. I think it came on when I logged in automatically. So, all right. So did you get have you gotten your second shot yet?
No, I get the second shot on the 22nd of February.
Okay.
It's like a three-week spread for the Pfizer vaccine.
Okay. We're giving them Moderna or Modern, whatever the one. That's what my company's given. So.
Yeah,
I haven't gotten it yet.
They're equally effective. And so I don't know, really. I didn't have a choice, right? I went to the St. E's place. I took my father-in-law because I made an appointment for him when I made mine. And then
how did you make the appointment?
Online through my chart.
Okay. I'll have to look because I need to get Charlie his. I know some of my patients at work was saying that CVS has given it, and a bunch of other places is giving it too. So I might even just try to see if I can get it at CVS for him, but because we
Yeah.
weren't going to get it, but we're going to go to Disney in November, so we're going to have it in order to fly. So we're going to do it then. Yeah, they will. They give you a little card every time when you get it. Shows that you got both shots. Yeah. So, yep.
So I just looked, and right now there's in Kentucky.
Okay.
If you go to just Google Northern Kentucky Health Department, it gives you several places. It gives you 2 places for St. Elizabeth, but one of those is in Grant County.
Okay.
And then there's 3 places for what's called Health Point Family Care. One of them's in Covington, one's in Newport,
Right.
Lawrence.
Yeah, the one in Covington I drive by every day.
Then there's one at Lakeside Christian Church on Buttermilk Pike. And then there's this really big place, which is St. Elizabeth on Olympic Boulevard in Erlanger.
Oh,
That's where
yeah, that's the one
was,
I've seen.
It was incredibly efficient. We were in and out, and we went in together. So both of us were in and out in a half an hour. And
wow.
you have to sit there for 15 minutes to make sure you've got no reactions. So
where is it at on Olympic Boulevard?
Almost kind of at the end of Olympic Boulevard, right off of Mineola Pike. So if you get off at Mineola Pike on 275, you turn left off the exit, and then turn right onto Olympic Boulevard. It's back in there. It's not far at all, and it's really well marked.
Okay. I may have to check into it. One of my doctors at work said that they're given I think he said Kentucky, 65 and up starting next week, and Charlie would fall in that category. So, but I haven't gotten it, but my administrative, I don't know what the heck she is. She's the boss over my boss. When she was in the other day, she was talking, and I told her, I said, well, I guess I'm going to have to get it. I said, but it's already closed for the employees to get it now. I can't schedule. And I said, she goes, well, there's still some vaccines left. And I said, yeah, but I can't schedule it till it's my age group. And she said, well, you just need to let somebody know that you want it. I said, well, I'm letting you know I want it. And she said that she'll put me on the list. And she said that they were giving them to Claremont County Hospital this week. So she said she'll put me on the list, and if they call, then I have to go right away and get it. I said, well, that could be a problem. I could be seeing patients. She said, you don't have a choice. You go. So when I said that, Dr. Peerless looked at me and he goes, I'm so glad you're getting it. He said, I'll clean my own rooms. I'll clean my own rooms so you can go get your shot. I'm like, yeah, I don't think that works that way. Yeah, I have to clean the rooms, but I also have to room your patients. So, but I'll just go when they have it. So hopefully I'll get it soon. We'll see. Hi, John.
Hey, Sheila.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
Other than waiting for your shot, I've got mine scheduled for February 18th.
Is this your first one or your second one?
First one.
Okay.
I just got into the age group.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, I didn't want to get it, so I'm kind of forced into getting it. If I'm gonna, we're going to Disney in November, and I want to go to Disney, and so to fly, I'm gonna have to have it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be mandated for certain things.
They're
Yeah.
still on
So-
70 and
Hi,
over.
Mike.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hey, Mike. Hey, Marty.
Hey, Tim. Oh,
Hi, Mo.
Sheila's iPad's pointed at the ceiling.
It's Charlie's iPad. I don't
And
know
he's
why
a-
it says his name on it, but
He's asleep
doesn't-
at the switch, huh?
Hi, Ken.
he doesn't have it tilted up yet. He will eventually. He just don't have it yet.
Hey, Ken. Hi,
How you
John.
doing, Mike?
Hey, Mike.
Yeah, you know. Oh, wait. Let me see. I better close this.
Hey, John, how you doing?
Good, Tim. Just
Good.
getting over the shingles. I've had it since end of October.
Oh,
Oh
Ooh.
no,
Yeah, it's horrible.
that's miserable.
that's what I've heard. I got my 2 shingle shots this in 2020.
Hmm.
My
I've
doctor,
still been holding off on that. I shouldn't,
doctor-
I guess.
my doctor asked me last year if I had chicken pox, and I said, I really don't know. My parents are passed away, and he says, if you didn't have it, I would not recommend getting it. Well, apparently I must have had it. But yeah, it's ugly. Oh, geez. Right now, everything's okay except the first 2 fingers. I can't feel the tips of them.
Oh, really?
It's painful, that's for sure.
It was my right arm that got affected, but it's coming through. Okay.
That's good.
So did you get the shot, John?
No, I did not.
No, okay. Yeah. Yeah. Gail got them, my wife, and I don't know why, she had chicken pox when she was a kid, but she still got them.
Oh, she got the
Yeah.
shingles?
Yeah. And
Oh,
she got
yeah.
the shots then, and I think it's 2 shots.
Yes.
Yeah.
After the second one, she had a little outbreak on her back.
Oh wow.
They said it's rare to get it twice, but you can get it. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awful.
Oh,
I've heard it's just terrible. Everybody I know
It's-
that's gotten it was just suffered.
It's really painful.
My right
is-
arm, the muscles started hurting, and it got so bad that I went to the doctor, and he thought maybe I threw my rotor cuff off, and he said, no, it wasn't that. And he noticed there was a blister on my arm. He says, is that poison ivy? I said, I don't know, it doesn't itch. He says, that might be shingles. And in 2 days, my whole arm blistered up, and every one of those blisters turned black.
Ooh,
Oh wow.
ouch.
It's not good.
not fun. Indiana
What's that
fishing
say?
guides. I got a box of the 2021, 2022 today. So I got to figure out a way to be able to get them to people. But I thought I'd mention that I have them tonight.
Okay.
Okay. I'll just add that to the other 2 things I'm talking about.
Okay. Tim, do you have the flag ready for the?
Oh, that's a good question. I'll get it ready real quick.
Hi, Ken. I think that's
Hello,
you, isn't it?
Sheila and everybody.
All right.
Hi.
I think we're going to have a lot of people on. At least it looks like there was a lot of people signed up.
Hey, Ken.
Yes, Mike.
Did you send in that annual report?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So we got that in.
Yep.
Okay.
It says Dad is connecting to audio. Hi, Dad. I
Hi,
don't know who
Sheila.
Dad is. I don't know who Dad is yet.
Well, if he's my dad, I know where it's coming from. Twilight
This
Zone.
is Dave Wilson here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Is that dad?
Well, maybe it's Dave Wilson. I don't know what it showed up as.
Well, it
It
comes
says-
out as dad if that's you talking. We
Yeah,
can't
it says-
see you.
Well,
Turn
I'm-
your video on.
I'm one of them too.
Your video's not on.
Oh, It may be on, but it's covered with Scotch tape.
Oh,
Just to be sure I don't get spied on, I'll have to take this off.
okay.
Hey, I do that,
Yeah. There's a lot of people that do that.
but mine's a Post-it note or a piece of a Post-it note about this
Mhm.
big.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
Yep.
what I do.
get it off here. My grandkids are going to be proud of me that I was able to do this on a computer.
Well, maybe.
Yeah, really.
And here we go.
Who is Bo?
No, I think that's Morris Cecil.
Oh,
Now the
Oh,
tape's
Mo.
off. Does that work?
hey, we can see
I
ya.
I can see myself.
Yeah. We can see you now.
Yeah, I can see myself now. I feel
Hello.
I just spilled my water all over the floor.
Yeah, that does say
No.
dad. Why would it say that? I see that.
Whoever registered it, that's how they labeled it, how they named it.
If you go to participants, it's a little button down the bottom that shows that there are 10 people in the show right now, Dad. And you look for your name, Dad, and then you
Well-
slide it so that there are more options. You can change your name from Dad to what your real name is, because you don't look anything like my dad.
Yeah.
Well,
Mom,
I
I'm
clicked
gonna,
something.
that's a good idea. I'm gonna change Charlie's real quick. I'm gonna have it say your name instead of my name.
Can I repeat that for you, or do you got it?
Nope, I got it. I was doing
No,
it as you were
I'm talking to
telling him.
Dad.
Yeah, I say don't have Zoom client installed. That's a question. Wonder if I have to download that now. I don't. Did you say?
Well, don't worry about it. Be Dad. Be Dad.
You're fine.
Okay,
Don't worry about
I'll
it.
do that.
What's his name, though? I don't know who he is.
I'm Dave Wilson.
Hi, Dave.
Greetings. What's your name?
Greetings. Ken
You're-
Johnson.
You're Ken Johnson. I see that on the screen. Yeah.
Yes.
I forgot to scan. I deposited Dave's check and Bud Zuckerhar's today, and I forgot to send you the receipt. But I did put that in the bank today.
Okay.
Hey, Mark.
That'll be a 5-cent deposit or penalty charge, Mike.
Penalty charge. Yep, I
Yep.
figured. What the heck?
Hi,
Hey,
Jack.
Jack.
Hey. Hey, Tom.
Hi, Tom.
Oh, I like that background.
He's
Thanks.
in a virtual basement.
Hey, Tom.
Where'd you get that?
Hi, guys. How are you? How's everybody?
Doing
Good.
well. I
How
got
you
it.
doing?
It's Rick and Morty, John.
Rick and Morty?
I got to get my,
Hey, Tom.
can't hear you.
I said, how you doing?
Are those virtual peanuts, Jack? Jack, are you eating virtual peanuts?
Chocolate.
Oh, virtual chocolate.
Hey, Sheila,
Yes.
it's nice that your iPad's looking at the ceiling. Is that, I guess all your iPads point up on the other screen?
That's Charlie's. That's Charlie's. I was
Okay.
trying to change it. It won't let me change. It won't let me change his name. I don't know
Maybe
why.
turn the video off.
Well, when it's on, he'll turn it. When we're starting, he'll face it. He'll
Okay.
have it in front of him.
Cool.
He just
Okay.
has it laying on the. He just has it laying on the couch right now.
I
Eventually,
thought it
it'll
looked
be.
like a couch.
Well, it's the ceiling that you're looking at, but it's laying on the couch. So is it even?
We got
Where's
4
the-
minutes till 7.
Oh, it does have people in it. Okay.
We've got, well over 40 registered.
I
So,
thought we had more than that.
yeah. And well, it always looks bigger than it is, but actually we usually have more than that.
Right.
We have frequently, well, like you and Charlie are counted as.
Two.
one.
Or, well, I registered both of us. So
Oh, you did? Okay.
yeah. Yeah, Ken.
Tom Bader, aren't you a New England kid or something like that?
He's a new.
Where are you from?
We're not allowed this.
We're not hearing you, Tom.
We can't hear you. You're muted or something.
No, he's not.
Turn your volume up. Maybe that's what it is.
I've done that. It didn't work.
There you go. We
There you go.
hear you now.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I hear you now.
All right,
Okay.
Tom, where are you from?
I live in New Hampshire now.
How much snow do you have?
We got about 10 inches out of the last storm over the weekend or this week. But it's not nearly what we've seen in the past.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah. Yep.
Another one coming your way Saturday, though. So hang on. Don't be too disappointed.
Yeah. The last 2 years have been pretty mild. The first year
What?
we were here 3 years ago, when we first moved
I can't
here.
hear you.
Man, we had
No, I got it.
2 feet or more.
No, this is okay for now.
We're not too far from the coast, about 20 miles from the coast, so it's moderated a little bit. It's not like it is up in the mountains.
Okay. I'm a Western Massachusetts boy, so I kind of know of New Hampshire.
Well, good.
Mostly Keene, but where are you located in New Hampshire? Lowell?
No, actually, we're in Durham, New Hampshire, which is up by Portsmouth, right on the.
Okay, great. All right, I'm going to stop talking but I have never met you. I just wanted to say hi.
Hi, Ken. How are you?
Good, Tom.
Okay, so we have Joel, we have Brian, we have Richard. Hello, hello, hello. Hi, Tom.
Hey, Tom.
The other Tom. The other Tom.
Another Tom. Dad went away.
Dad's still there.
Oh,
Dad is
there
back
he is.
again.
He came
I
back.
had to brag to one of my sons that I made this thing work.
Way to go.
Of course,
Hey, Joe Cruz.
got me all lined up.
to work.
Hi, Sterling.
Got me all lined up on
Good
this.
evening.
Hello,
And-
Mr. Hale.
Alan.
What the hell?
Hi, Alan.
How you doing?
Well, as can be expected. Joe,
Yes,
did you get a look at the outflow from Brookville?
it's 3.1 feet right now. That's good.
Right. That's not bad.
Yeah, that's good right now.
We got a shot at Saturday?
Yeah. The what?
Itch. I got the itch.
I hear that, Mike.
Hmm.
All right,
Hey,
so we'll
Joe's
give
in
it a
the
couple
dark.
more minutes and then we'll get started.
The deal.
Joe Cruz, Ken Johnson, are you going to tell me to stay home? At what time are you going to call me? Like 4 o'clock in the morning?
You're supposed to stay home anyhow and let everybody else show up. Hey, I like your Mike.
What's that?
I like Ken's hat tonight.
Oh,
What do you like about it, Joe?
It's just on your head. I can't see part of
he's
Oh, you're
not hurt by
bad.
the glare.
You're so bad, Joe. You're
See,
so
the
bad.
glare? Got it?
Joe, are you in a sleeping bag? Are you in a sleeping bag, Joe?
Yes, can you tell?
He's just in the dark.
Sitting in my
He's lounging.
lights on.
The darker it is, the better, Joe.
What's that?
The darker it is, the better.
I can turn all the lights off if you want me to.
Please.
We can barely see you.
Oh, hang on, I'll get a.
He's running a game on you, Joe.
Who's on? Who's got the buff logo? Who's on?
That's you.
Hey, Josh.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's Jim Voda. Hey,
Hi, Jim. How you doing?
doing okay.
Oh,
Good.
I don't
Yeah,
see him.
I haven't changed my
That's all right.
name there for a while there. Yeah.
That's okay.
Nah.
All right.
All right.
Josh,
Is
Josh,
our speak? Let's see. Is Captain Whelan on?
I don't see him.
Well,
Let me look.
I told them we probably had about 15 or so minutes of announcements. And so forth.
Okay.
So
Well,
you-
let's just go ahead and get started then.
yeah.
All right.
All right. Hang on. Share a screen. This. Share. Boom. Are you
Gonna
seeing
do
the
our-
flag?
Yes, we are. All right.
All right.
Good deal. Okay. So we'll go ahead and get started. We'll start with the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Give a moment of silence for all of our first responders and our medical staff. All right, let's get started. Okay,
All right.
I love that flag, Jim. That's a great flag.
Now I just have to figure out how to stop sharing here.
All right. Well, it's okay. I can still talk
Yeah,
with the
talk.
flag on. It's okay. All right. So for the calendar of events, let's see. First, we're going to go. I'll let Mark go first. Mark, sir, you want to talk about dues?
Yes, thank you, Sheila. Normally, we talk about this at a live meeting. Unfortunately, these are not normal times. So we can't pay at meetings like most people like to do, but we do have the option, a couple of options. The easiest option, I think, in my opinion, is to go to the website. There's a tab at the top called Members Only. And about the third, under that menu, the third one is
I can't
paid.
hear you.
Go in there. You need to sign in, of course, and then use the PayPal form in there to pay your dues. Several people have already done that. We appreciate that. And it's easy that way. The other option is to mail a check to the P.O. box, which is also on the website. Let's see, where is the box number? Let's see if I can find it real quick.
Tim, just stop sharing the presentation.
What?
Just stop sharing the presentation to get the flag to go off.
Stop. Yeah, I know, but where? The controls aren't coming up.
up at the top of the screen.
Yeah.
Go to the top of your screen.
At the top of your Zoom screen.
Yeah, I know, but I've lost my Zoom screen. I'm probably gonna have to, maybe I'll have to sign in and sign out and sign back in or something.
You got a leave button?
Push the Zoom on the bottom line there.
Yeah, it's not, I know how to do it. It's just not working. I'm gonna leave the meeting and get back in.
Okay.
Oh, wait a minute. Hang on.
There you go.
All right.
All right. So, Mark, did you finish making your comments?
No, I was just gonna say the address for the, if you want to mail a check in, you can do that as well to renew your dues. It's $30 still for a annual single and $35 for a family. The post office box is P.O. Box 17541, Lakeside Park, 41017 is the zip code.
Right.
But it is on the contact us on the website. Those are the two ways right now we can do it. And if anybody has questions or has financial needs, can't pay this, please let us know. And we do have a small scholarship set up to help some people out.
Yep.
Could you give us
fading in and out? Can't hear you sometimes.
Yeah, you're fading in and out.
Could you give us that address again? P.O. Box 17547.
P.O. Box 17541, Lakeside Park, Kentucky, 41017. And if you're having some financial difficulties and need some help, please let us know. We have a scholarship fund for it.
Okay.
Okay. Somebody's having a lot of background noise.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. I've
The
muted
speaker is
everybody.
signed in.
You unmute yourself if you want to talk.
Okay, I think I'm done.
All right.
Okay.
Unless there's
Cool.
questions.
All right. So next thing is that we had an event. Was it a couple weeks ago, I guess, or last weekend? I don't remember. They all go together. That we did our calendar planning meeting, and Mike Arnold, who has been our guru for this, we thank you so very much for all the hard work you did on getting this together. You and Randy both did a phenomenal job trying to get our calendar together for us, and we appreciate that. Finally, fortunately, we're going to have a calendar, so we're going to have some events that we're going to do, which we're all looking forward to that. So once again, thanks, Mike, for all your hard work. Mike and Randy for all your hard work getting our calendar together. We have two big trips coming up. One of them is in Hot Springs. That's in March. That is correct, right? Right, Jack?
Yes, correct.
Okay. So that's a great trip for newbies. So it's an awesome trip. It's and it's fairly reasonably priced. So if you're interested in that, you need to meet up or talk to Jack. He can help you out with that. The next one is the Wyoming trip, and right now we only have 5 people signed up for this trip, and it's an amazing trip. So if you're interested in either one of them trips, you need to get your deposits in soon. So Jack, do you have anything else to add to that?
Just on the Wyoming trip, we must get our deposits in. If you're at all interested, you'll want to do that before the end of February. Actually, it'd be great if you could get in by 19th, because we have to get our deposits into them by March 1st. So, and just another note on the North Carolina trip, Josh Lillard is leading that trip, so you can contact me or him about that trip.
All right, great. Do you have anything else to add, Jack?
Nope, that's good. That's it
Okay,
at this time.
cool. So I'm gonna leave it.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Okay, I'm gonna leave it to Mike next, so that he can. Sorry, I got choked on my drink. Mike, if you want to go ahead and talk about the South Bend trips and all your other little things that you had to talk about.
Okay, Tim, can you share that that photo that I sent, the PDF?
I'm not. When did you send that?
Today. about 3 o'clock, I think.
You know, I can't guarantee you that I've checked my emails there.
Let's see. That was just an attention getter. We are going to do,
Mike,
are
you
going-
could share your screen if you've got that.
I've got it, but it's, it's on that computer
All
over
right,
there.
well, just go
Doesn't
ahead.
do
and
you
tell
any
us
good.
that.
Anyhow, it's just pictures of 4 very large fish that were taken out of the Dowagiac River, which is one of the rivers we fish up in northern Indiana. We're going to do a 2-day trip on the 26th and 27th of April. The one day will be a full day trip for 2 with the guides. The next day or the previous day, I'm not sure which one's going to be which. It's going to be 2 half-day trips. So 4 people can go on the half-day trips. I will be one of those in the half-day. I just can't do a full day anymore. My back doesn't take it. But in any case, that'll cut the price down a little bit too. We're going to go up on Sunday night and fish on Monday and Tuesday. The guys that are with us that are not on the guided trip will fish on our own. We have a knowledge of a few spots that we can get to as long as the water isn't way over our heads. But that's April 25th, 6th, and 7th. We'll be returning on Tuesday, going up on Sunday. Okay, I had another thing to talk about, which was the Zoom presentations that I've got planned, and I really needed that. That I also sent you that, Tim. Oh, I don't know where I can get it. In any case, I don't know if you all can see. No, you can't see that. No, never mind.
No.
Okay.
Well, we'll send them out with a Zoom,
with a burst.
We'll send them
Okay.
out by a constant contact.
Okay. Basically, I'm going to start doing some 1 hour-ish Zoom meetings on Thursday evenings in February, March, April. And it's for basically newer fly fishers or maybe some of the old hands who want to revisit why we do some of the things we do. It's unlimited. You know, you can anybody can sign in. The first meeting is on the 11th at 7 o'clock, and we'll send out the link for that. If it's not already on the calendar, I think it is. In any case, we'll talk the first meeting about what people want to see. What I'm trying to do is figure out how to do our fly fishing basics class through Zoom sessions. Our 6-hour FFB classes are broken down into 3.5 hours of indoor show and tell and talking, and then an hour of knot tying and an hour and a half of fly casting. The problem is, you know, we're not going to be doing physical or in-person meetings for the entire thing. I'm planning on setting up Zoom sessions for the morning, and then in the afternoon, we'll meet to do the actual in-person knot tying and fly casting. Limit will be 15, and that's for the regular classes that we're going to continue to do starting in April. But for this first session, I need to find out whether what I've got to present is sufficient to make up for the 6-hour class. So that first session on the 11th will be getting people's ideas about what they want to talk about and what order they want to talk about them in, so I can plan the rest of the sessions on the Thursday nights. It's Thursday nights other than the meeting night. So that's it as far as I'm concerned.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. I did get a box of Indiana 2021, 2022 fishing regulations guides. Okay. if anybody wants one of those, email me or call me if you know my phone number or whatever. We'll figure out some way of getting them to you. I may, if this thing goes off Saturday at the Brookville, I'll bring a big stack of them with me.
All right.
Okay,
All right. Is that it? Is that all you got, Mike?
that's all I got.
All right. Anybody else have any other announcements? No?
You've got Ken
Is our-
Johnson on the agenda.
Oh, I don't have him on mine.
Well, you have it on mine.
Okay. Well, I don't have him on mine.
Ken?
All right, but Ken,
Hey, oh, go ahead.
go ahead, Ken.
Well, hang on. Yeah, I too am looking for something to share, but I thought I had it, but it's here someplace. But where our skills of using Zoom are kind of struggling tonight, aren't they?
Yeah, big time.
Hey, I was able to get on today with no problem. So that's why everybody else is having the problem. Because I usually have a problem and nobody else does. I didn't have any problems tonight.
Hey, all God's children got problems.
Well, you know,
Well, what,
some
Ken,
more than others.
why don't we go ahead and get started on our program? And then at the end of the meeting, we can do your presentation. So,
Okay, thank you, Tim.
Captain Whelan, are you there?
Yes, I am. I just unmuted myself. I hope my Zoom skills are pretty good, so we'll see.
Well, we trust that they will be better than ours. I must say that I have to give full and complete credit to Tom Bader, who recommended Captain Peter Whelan as a speaker. And he told me that Trout Unlimited up in your neck of the woods has heard Captain Whelan a number of times and just raved about him. And a number of us have been talking about doing a road trip up the East Coast of New Hampshire and Maine, and sounded great to me. So without further ado, I'll introduce Captain Peter Whelan. And Captain Whelan, you can do a little more detailed introduction to yourself and what services you offer, and then I look forward to hearing and seeing.
Yeah, I'm going to try to share this screen and get started here. Let's see if we can. I'm going to just bear
You know
with
what?
me.
Something you can do, guys, for this is there's a pin option on a screen. If you
There
pin
we
it,
go.
you will get your full picture there.
Yeah, let's, if we can make that a full screen.
Let me try to drag this over. Oh, no, let's see. Hold on for a second. There we go. Okay, if you could let me share, that'd be great. Let me go back.
You have control. All you have to do is go down and share. I don't need to give you permission.
Okay, I got it now.
Good.
So let me just, I'll just tell you a little bit about myself. So I've been fly fishing actually since I've been probably 10 or 11 years old. I grew up in the Philadelphia area, fished all those spring creeks, in Pennsylvania, but I spent most of my time in the summertime at the Jersey Shore. So I was a pretty avid fly fisherman down there in the 70s and actually 60s. And since then, down on Long Beach Island, I moved up to Portsmouth, New Hampshire. So I've been operating out of here for about 15 years. It's great to see other fly fishermen. I'm usually attending all the shows and presenting there at Somerset, New Jersey, and Marlborough, kind of the fly fishing shows. So that's a little bit about me. Let me just go to there we go. Go to the next slide. So I am a Coast Guard captain. I've been that way for 20 years. I'm a registered Maine guide, and you'll see why. because New Hampshire does have a 18-mile coastline, and I fish a lot of my time in Maine, so I have to be a Maine guide to be that. I'm the past president of Coastal Conservation Association here in New Hampshire, and I'm pretty active with the American Saltwater Guides Association. I'm on their board of directors. Oop. All right, next. Let me go back. So I'm also a member of the Atlantic States Striped Bass Advisory Board. So striped bass, as you know, are managed by all the coastal states here on the East Coast. And all of our fish are actually, most of them spawn in the Chesapeake Bay and then migrate up every year. So there's two areas, Delaware Bay and Chesapeake Bay. No fish spawn in Maine or New Hampshire. So it's all migratory. We're fishing kind of the migratory schools as they come up. So a little bit about Portsmouth, where I live. So this is a colonial seaport right on the coastline, right where Maine and New Hampshire meet. And it's a pretty historic place. We have all 18th century homes. And across the river from Portsmouth is Kittery. And in the island in the middle is what's called the Portsmouth Naval Shipyard. So if you look at that upper corner there, you'll see the shipyard, which is in an island in the Piscataqua River. So I fish this whole estuary and then out along the coast. So the Naval Shipyard employs about 10,000 people. They refuel all our nuclear attack submarines. So it's a pretty busy place.
Captain, I
Hey,
don't think
Captain, we're just
seeing what
seeing your
you're
overall
seeing.
slides. We're seeing your PowerPoint with,
Yep.
with just you holding the fish, and it's not scrolling through the slides.
Okay, how's that? Is that scrolling now? No?
No.
Sharing is paused. So bring your window to the front. I'm going to say resume share. How's that? Is that good?
I'm still seeing the slide with looks like your slides to the left.
Right. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything other
I
than the
see
slide.
slide 1 and part of slide 2. Looks like it's your main PowerPoint slide, not your slideshow.
Right.
Okay, let me see. I'm going to try this. How's that?
There you go.
Is that
There
better?
you go.
Yeah,
Yep.
There you go.
Okay, so that's a Portsmouth Naval Shipyard. It's right across the river from Portsmouth. Let me just go next. So it was established in 1800. That's what it looks like across the river from Portsmouth. And it's located on the Piscataqua River, which is one of the fastest current rivers in the United States. It's about 50 feet deep. And the key thing up here is we get a 8 or 9 foot tide. So you can see here, this is kind of a map of the area. And on the lower right-hand corner, you can see where Portsmouth is, just with that red circle there. So you can see right where that blue area is where I keep my boat. And then you have kind of downtown Portsmouth. And this is the Piscataqua River, which is all tidal, all the way up in the Great Bay, which is the largest estuary north of the Chesapeake Bay, saltwater estuary. So our stripers, migrate up here. So that's what my boat looks like. It's the Miss Jodine. So I fish out of a 23-foot center console boat. And I'd say 70% of my clients are fly fishing. And then the other 30% are what I would call bait, like tackle, plugs, or whatever. And if you go, this is kind of what our coastline looks like. This is my boat here. And I did a TV show. It's called On the Water. It's pretty popular here in New England. They show it down in the metropolitan New York area. And this is what our coastline looks like. This is what's called the Nubble Light. And Portsmouth is right in the background there. So we did this shoot. You can watch it on YouTube. And we flew drones the whole time. It was pretty interesting to do it. Here's me. I'm releasing a fish. This is a kind of an average sized fish in the ocean. It's about 28 inches or so. I'd say 95% of all the stripers that we catch, we release. Stripers are kind of under a little bit of stress right now. The spawning stock biomass has dropped over the years. So right now the stock is overfished, but we still have pretty good numbers of fish coming in. I'm going to show you this. This is kind of northern New Hampshire, because I know you guys are from Kentucky. So this is on the Androscoggin River. And we do have a pretty good trout fishery up there. And we float it. These are with rafts. I don't do that, but I'm going to show you a guy who does. This is Nate Hill, who I highly recommend. And to the left there, that's a landlocked salmon that he caught. And we do have landlocked salmon up north. So just to give you an idea, that's Mount Washington in the background there. But you can drive from Portsmouth to this area in about an hour and a half. So, and it's a tailwater fishery. It's pretty good. Probably not as good as some of the streams in North Carolina, but still pretty good. We got a lot of native brown trout that are there also. So, and then if you want to catch some big fish, you come down to the coast and you fish striped bass with me. So this was one that was caught last year. It's probably about 47, 48 inches. And I'm trying to get it back in the water to release it. You know, our fishery is spectacular here. I mean, it starts in early May and we go till about mid-October or so. This is what the coastline looks like. This is a drone shot. You can see my boat in the background right here. So we have a rocky coast. You can see the tide line. So we have an 8 or 9 foot tide. So these fish will feed with the tide coming in and out. This is an entrance to a little kind of estuary called Brayboat Harbor that's on the main side up the coast. This is what it looks like. I'm going to show you this feed. Hopefully this is going to work. Oh, no. So this is kind of early in the year. These are striped bass that are just coming into the estuary, feeding into the tide. These are all what we would call schoolie fish, you know, 18 to 26 inches. And we have acres of them that come in. And this is early morning action, you know, on the fly. This is one of my clients here, but as you can see, we don't have a lot of competition up here. So, I mean, the fishing is spectacular. And the fishing in June and, you know, most of the summer. So most of the fish arrive by, I would say, mid-May. And there's a lot of discussion of what causes them to migrate. These are the striped bass. And a lot of people think it's water temperature, but I've been doing this long enough so I know that it's either the sun or the moon. It's actually the angle of the sun that causes these fish to both migrate up and to leave. And what they'll do is they'll come into the river, into the Piscataqua, and head up to the dams and estuaries first, following the bait, and then continue to filter in most of the summer. So we fish the tides here pretty heavily. So a lot of heavy incoming tides and outgoing tides. Depends on where the fish are, either on the river or along the coast. Most of the fly tackle we're using is all 200 to 300 grain lines. I just use straight fluorocarbon leaders, usually 15-pound test, and use all 7 to 8 weight rods and reels. Go ahead. I do fish a lot of floating lines if we're going to fish poppers, you know, going forward. Let me go to the next slide here. So here's another, this is an early morning feed. This is where I keep my boat, just to give you an idea. So these stripers are coming in with a tide, and these are all turns over them. So this can go on for hours. So these are all the smaller fish, and then there's usually larger fish underneath them, but it's kind of a fly fisherman's dream. You know, we have mornings where we'll do 50, 60 fish, you know, in a morning. This is some of the bait. This is a little alewife that's will be in the river that we'll try to imitate. This is my boat right here, dockside. I keep my boat at the Wentworth Marina. It's a marina right in Newcastle, New Hampshire, floating docks. So this just gives you an idea. One of the reasons I have this picture in here is that you can see where the tide line is. So this tide is, 8 to 9 feet between high and low tide. So that really affects the fishing, how the fish are moving. Just to give you an idea, my boat is on the other side of these big boats. So, because New England's kind of a destination in the summertime, these are some of the larger yachts that we get to come in. They usually go to Nantucket, then come into Portsmouth, and then go up the Maine coast to cruise around and stuff. This one's kind of interesting. This was the guy who was the owner of the Red Sox, John Henry. And this is an infinity pool he had on the back of his yacht, the Elysian. I think he got it from a Russian oligarch. This is just an idea. Some of the fish we catch along the coast, so I fish right tight to the rocks when we're throwing our flies right in there. And again, let me go back. Yeah, so this gives you an idea. This is out along the coast of Portsmouth Harbor. This is in the ocean, and this is feeding bunker. So we got birds over top of them, and the stripers have got them circled up, and they're kind of foaming on them. And just to give you an idea what the coastline looks here. Oh, I don't know why my things are switching here, but anyway, this is a good friend of mine, Scotty Perkins. This is like a 50-inch striped bass that he caught on a paddleboard. And what he does is he paddles along and then spots the fish and then casts to them. So we do have a lot of sandy areas where these fish will swim right in tight to the shore. The shallower, the better, but the paddleboard is very stealthy. We have a lot of guys, kayak fishing is pretty big up here. And the water all summer stays pretty cool. It's usually in the 50s or 60s most of the summer. Again, we're fishing right along the coast. This is an 8-weight rod, so we're just bent up here, and you can see the fish kind of busting in the background here, where there's circles and some turns above them. So these fish are feeding with the tides. And then this shoreline here, you can see, because it's that color, is covered up at high tide. So it just gives you an idea of what we're kind of dealing with here. Another nice fish on the fly. This was kind of interesting. This is out along the coast, Rocky Coast. And this gentleman, we were fishing these bunker schools, and I'll show you some pictures of them. And we're throwing big kind of bunker flies. I mean, they're 8 or 9 inches long into these busting schools, and just letting the flies sink down. And the stripers were very difficult to hook because they were, so focused on the live bait. This is what it looks like here. You can see the whitewater. So those are the big striped bass along the coast feeding on bunker, moving forward. Here's another one. This is one of my clients. She came over. She lives in Nantucket, likes to come back to Portsmouth and fish a little bit. Another one. And you can see in the background here, you can see the bridge. So this is actually in the river. This is a gentleman that I take quite often, and he fishes like a 3-weight switch rod, which is kind of interesting. And he was casting out behind the boat, letting the fly drift with the tide, and the fish were hitting it on the swing so hard it almost yanked the rod out of his hands. Here's another one, the same day, kind of a foggy day in June. You can see the bridge in the background. This is right in the Piscataqua River, Portsmouth Harbor, right where we're fishing. So I fish, both in the river and in the estuary, then out along the coast. And the techniques are can be a lot different in doing both. Another nice fish. This was on a spinning rod right along the coast. She was up from Florida. See if I can get this to play. This gives you an idea. This is a fellow Rob Wolfchuck. And you can see the fish. Yeah. You can see the fish kind of surfacing in the background here. So this is in about 40 feet of water, and those fish are feeding right into the top.
There's plenty of fish.
With a 7-weight rod. Fish looks really big, but it's I don't want to bust everyone's bubble. It's not that big, but it just gives you an idea. These,
I'm sure Dickman would have caught that damn fish. That thing was huge.
Yeah, you don't know. I mean,
but you can see them
yeah, I
all
got the
busting
video.
in the background there. So this is about 40 feet of water. And those stripers are just all staged up. You can see the guy in the kayak in the background. But it's kind of taking them right around the boat here a little bit. So where this takes place, there's 5 rivers that kind of meet in to the Great Bay. And it goes on like this. There's a pattern to it. So it goes on like this. You know, once you get on the pattern, it's like this every morning, you know, the month of June and July. Pretty much I use Galvin reels, the Tibor, and mostly all Winston's, all 7 and 8 weight. I like the Royal Wolf lines also.
It's a bigger fish.
Yeah, he's making them look bigger than it is here. But the other thing I'm going to point out, you see how it's kind of overcast a little bit? So this was a morning, you know, with not a lot of bright sunshine. So those fish will stay up pretty good.
So if you're there in June, July, what's the temperature typically like? What do you wear? I know you're wearing it. You've got it looks like a pretty heavy coat there.
Yeah, I mean, just you know, a fleece or you know, a wading jacket. Because the mornings can be a little bit chilly, but these fish are been.
Yeah,
You got to remember, this fish is from Maryland in the Chesapeake, so it swims up here, you know, every year. This fish is about probably 3 years old, and I'm a firm believer that these fish have to
Flip them there. There we go.
come
That's
back to
okay.
the
Good job.
about a 24-inch fish or
Yeah.
so. See if I can go to the next one. There we go. So this gives you an idea of some of the bait. So we've got, this is a sand lance down here, silver sides, kind of peanut bunker. This is a large bunker, spearing, and then the mackerel here. Mackerel is a big part of their bait. This is another silver side. We do get what's called half beaks up here, which are kind of the southern ballyhoo, and I'll show you. The tuna fish will bust on those. I've got some tuna pictures in here also. So this is out along the coast. This gives you an idea. These are peanut bunker. You can see the little silver fish jumping up and down, and then the stripers are kind of feeding on them. These are some of the flies, you know, I use. I don't use that many flies. I mean, to me, it's more getting the fly down to the fish with a proper sink tip, and then kind of varying your colors, you know, chartreuse and white, white and red. You know, the gummy minnows, when they get kind of really picky, can work really well. And I use a bunch of Clouser minnows too. So the fly selection is not that critical unless the fish are really keyed in on certain bait, and then you've got to switch it out a little bit. And then sometimes, you know, you retrieve. This is kind of the mainstay bait for these big stripers, mackerel like this. And these are pretty prevalent from about June all the way through October. And we have mackerel imitations. These fish are about 8 or 9 inches long. And we'll actually go out and jig these with sabiki rigs if we're going to fish them live for live bait, just to give you an idea. So kind of working the coast, as I call it, once you get out of the estuary, you're pretty much using 8 and 9 weight lines, 8 or 9 weight rods, 200 grain lines, and you're fishing right into the rocks. So you're throwing your fly right into the rocks, right into the white water. I'm 20 feet right off those rocks, and we're fishing bigger flies. We do have some sand flats, so there is some sight fishing that takes place, but not the traditional way that you think of the Keys. But you can see these fish on the flats, and they are on the oceanside flats and in the harbor, and they are keyed in on crabs and some other things. And just to give you an idea, I mean, I've been tying all winter long. I tie up a lot of, chartreuse deceivers and a lot of clouser minnows by the dozens. This is another, I'll just show you another feed. This is actually up at Great Bay, and there's probably, I don't know, a couple thousand fish here. I mean, you can see the birds over them. This is just acres of fish. And they're feeding into the tide. So as the tide's coming up into the river, these fish are feeding on the bait, getting swept in. And this will go on for hours. And it tends to be, you'll see these little fish on the top, and the bigger fish will be down below them usually. Just some more examples of flies that I use. This is a fellow, this was one that we caught on that red and yellow deceiver. And we caught it actually in the river in 50 feet of water. And you can mark these fish, and you can see the way the circular here is. It's the way the tide runs. Those stripers will get on this structure here in the river, and you just need to get your fly down to them. And it's pretty exciting to watch. Just my fly box, white and pink, chartreuse and white. I tend to tie a lot with, I used to rep Spirit River. I tie a lot with their UV stuff, UV bucktails, UV saddle hackle. I know Bill Black, who used to own Spirit River. He sold it to Hairline a couple of years ago. Bill used to come out and fish with me. And the UV colors work really well in salt water, especially under low light conditions. I mean, I'm a believer in them. I had Bill fish a standard deceiver, and then I fished one with tied the same way, same fly, and I outfished him 2 or 3 to 1. So it's pretty amazing. Just some of the larger fish that we catch. Excuse these guys stretching their arms out a little bit, but these fish, 36 inches. I mean, he's 12 to 15 years old, so that's a big female. Once they catch, most of the fish over 28 inches are all females. So these fish have been swimming back and forth, for 12 years to these same spots out along the coast. And that's why I really encourage my clients to release them. A fish like this will lay hundreds of thousands of eggs in the Chesapeake. And if you've ever followed, striped bass, one year they have a great spawning year with a great year class, the next year not so good. And a lot of it is either environmental, because they all spawn within a 2-week period in the Chesapeake. And if all the stars and moons align the right way, it's a great year class. But if there happens to be a big flood or something happens environmentally, the year class can be decimated. There won't be so well. I'm going to play this for you. You can hear the birds going. This is in the river. If you're looking across, that's the Portsmouth Naval Shipyard. And you can see we've got a lot of, so we're fishing a popper here. This is a little burglar. We're just pulling along. I got a guy in the front of my boat, and then he hooks up, let's see, right at the boat. You can see the birds working here. The other thing I'll point out to you is, see these here? These are all lobster pots. So the river and the estuary is littered with them. And, so we're all kind of living in harmony here, but you can lose some big striped bass if they get wrapped around, they go down and get themselves wrapped around those lines. Let me go to the next one. This is the bridge going over to where my boat's kept on Newcastle Island. And I I just have this in here to show you that we have a lot of fly fishermen. You know, you can come east and fish with us or fish with me, but you can also wade fish and catch a lot of fish. You just have to know the right spots and the right tides to go to. And I'm pretty open about that. And you can either wet wade or have a pair of waders. But some of these spots you may see 10 or 15 fly fishermen, you know, fishing at a time. And this is just to show you, I keep my boat right here in this area. You can see the boats all lined up. This is called Little Harbor here, where you see my pointer, and then you go right out. Here's the ocean. But this is Newcastle Island. But all these, you can see these sand flats here in the back country, which is all flooded at high tide. I fish all this, all these areas along here. And then we have a lot of guys who will fish at the Wentworth Coolidge Mansion here, this little cut. They'll actually wade out and cast as the tide's going out and low tide, because all these fish get necked down to go out with a tide. So it's a pretty dynamic area. And you can see where the state line is on the Piscataqua between Maine and New Hampshire. Then all the boats, these are all boats on moorings. So that bridge scene I showed you was right here, right at Goat Island. Just another shot here. This is of the Nubble Light and the rocks here. Oh. And this is kind of my older boat. This is Jim Shaughnessy, who owns Beulah Fly Rods, who I used to rep years ago when he first came out. We're catching some striped bass, but this just shows you here on the left-hand side, this is a sheer rock wall. So we're fishing, fly fishing right against this wall here, throwing our baits right in, and the stripers will come right down this wall here to the beach. The next slide will show you well, this shows you here what it looks like on my recorder. So we're in 64 feet of water, and you've got this blue is bait. The red is all striped bass. So that's kind of what you can see in the river as these fish kind of move through. So that last shot where you saw my boat, we're right along this edge here fishing, okay? So this is a big rock wall. So these stripers will swim down. That's that Nubble Lighthouse right here. They'll swim down this edge. And then this is all sandy beach here. So it's great habitat. And this is kind of what we have, you know, along the Maine and New Hampshire coast. It's pretty different. We tend to fish pretty early in the morning. The one thing why I'm showing this is, you know, because New Hampshire and Maine and Portsmouth is so far east, you know, we're in June, we've got full light at 4 a.m. in the morning. So we tend to get out on the water pretty early and start early. Same thing, just showing you my boat here. Another kind of average, what I would say, schooly fish. This is a guy's wife who's now out of Montana guiding. He used to guide up in New Hampshire. They're out in Lolo, Montana now. Probably one of the largest stripers I ever caught with his fellow Tom. And you could see in the background how close to the shore we are. It was one of those cold, dark days, actually in early September, and pretty amazing day. Whoop, let me go back. I'm sorry, let me just. So this is kind of the next, you know, we had a really good run of what I would call bluefin tuna about 8 or 9 years ago, and they're all within 5 to 10 miles of the coast, and just spectacular run. We haven't had that for about 3 years, but I had people from all over the country coming to try to catch one of these on a fly. There was a famous fly fishing magazine that had Barry and Kathy Beck on it, that had an 80-pounder that was caught right by this buoy here, you know, I think it was the day before this. But anyway, it is a fishery I haven't really targeted it the past 2 years because it's just so difficult. Let me go to the next one. So this is kind of what it looks like when those tuna are here. So we've got these pelagic birds that are on them. These are shearwaters. They'll sit on top of these tuna schools and you can see them for miles. And here you can see the tuna just kind of crashing through, and they're not boat shy at all. You just pull your boat right up into them and throw the fly. The hardest thing for the anglers, and I use all 16 weight custom rods. I've got Billy Pate marlin reels. And the hardest thing is when you hook up is to try to get tight and get a good hook set, especially if they're swimming towards you. So this is what they look like in the water. They're just spectacular to watch. You could just put your rod down and just, you know, not even fish for them. So here, this is a guy, Michael Reeve, who's got one hooked up. It's going the other direction, but you can see the school out in front of him. The problem is you don't know when you cast into these what you're going to get. You could get one that's 300 pounds, or you could get one that's like I had that was like 30 pounds, which is what you want. Here they are again. So this is one that we caught on a popper. It's one of my best friends, Richie White. This is 190 pounds. He was on that fish for 6 hours. We killed it. These are kind of the nice sized fish that we get out along the coast. This is a fellow, Chris Megan, that I did a TV show with on the Water Magazine. Chris is a really nice guy. And just some of the, you know, I use mostly sim stuff, all Tibor reels, Winston rods. I enjoy what I do. I have a really great client list. You know, it's a spectacular fishery here in the Northeast with a lot to see and do. And that's it. I'll take any questions anybody has.
I would think working that fish for 6 hours, it would kill me.
Yeah, he was actually laid up for like a week straight with a back problem. And it, you know, it's one of those deals where it's like, Richie, you can't give up now. You know, you just got to keep going. And, you know, we got that fish alongside, but, you know, the giant tuna fishery out of that marina where I keep my boat is a big deal. And I tend not to, I used to catch a lot of giants, you know, rod and reeling, but it's kind of an uninteresting fishery for me because the guys use, if you watch the show Wicked Tuna,
Yes.
and, you know, they catch all the fish and never take the rod out of the rod holder. And Tyler McLaughlin, who's kind of the star of that show, keeps a boat at the Wentworth Marina. I've known him when he was 10 years old. And it's kind of a business. And, you know, when money gets into fishing or fisheries like that, people tend to do the wrong things. I mean, so I don't really fish for giants anymore. I just want to catch the small ones, you know, when they're here.
I love that Wicked Tuna that show. We watch it all the time.
I know.
And Tyler's our favorite guy.
If anybody has questions, just unmute yourself and ask the question.
So Peter, my friend Greg Dickman, when he's been up in that area, he said that he doesn't use any kind of strike indicator. Do you use strike indicators when you're fishing these monsters?
No, you've got to, the fly's got to be moving. So you're stripping all the time. You know, you can let it pause a little bit. So you can feel that fish, those bigger fish, when you strip back, when you're stripping, it feels almost like you've got a snag. I mean, the line stops and then all of a sudden it starts to move. You know, it's pretty amazing.
Thank you.
Okay. are you throwing full sinking lines or just long sink tips or intermediate or what?
I fish all the Royal Wolf striper lines. So they're all 30 foot shooting heads. They're the 200 grain usually, or 250 grain. So then you have an intermediate line kind of behind that.
Okay. Okay.
The issue is if you start, years ago when I first started this, we used to make up our own shooting heads because we didn't have, Jim Teeney came out with his famous line and they worked great, but they started to peel apart, if you remember. It wasn't
I
perfected.
never read that.
Yeah, it wasn't perfected real well, but the new integrated shooting head tips are great and they work very well. The issue with fishing like a 400 grain is at your shoulder, because when you're striper fishing, you're going to be doing a lot of repetitive casting. So, doing that for 3 or 4 hours, your shoulder's going to hurt after a while. And you're just better off to fish a lighter 200 grain shooting head that, you just let it sink a little bit longer. That's all.
When you take clients out, do they use your tackle or their own or combination?
Yeah, I encourage people, if they want to if they have a favorite rod they want to use or reel. The issue is most people come with floating lines or intermediate lines. And I usually have, 4 or 5 setups ready to go, with 200, 300 grain lines, and then 2 rods with floating lines with poppers, if we get into that. So, all you really have to do with me is just step on the boat and, I supply everything. And I think most of the guides up here do that. I mean, it's because it's a little bit specialized, if you know what I mean.
What are your rates and how many people can you take out on your boat at one time?
So I get $400 for a 4 to 5 hour trip, and typically fly fishing, I'll take 2 people.
Okay, that's cool.
If people want to lie bait, then I can take 3, maximum 4. That's
Okay.
it.
Cool.
So
What type of do you use, like monofilament or fluorocarbon for your leader, your tippet?
my tippet, I usually use Seagar fluorocarbon. So it's either, I usually use 15 to 20 pound, and I don't even use a tapered piece. It's just a straight piece of 6 foot fluorocarbon. That's it. And I just cut it, surgeon's loop on the end, loop to loop connection, and then a Homer Road knot, very simple knot, and I never have any issues. I mean, tapered leaders, it doesn't really matter for these fish. They're not that particular. You just need to lay it out there and get it into them. I mean, if you're fishing like on a flat and it's sandy and you're in like 2 or 3 feet of water, then maybe you want a little bit longer leader if you're fishing a crab. But typically stripers are not leader shy at all.
Ready to go, Josh?
I'm ready to go.
Yeah, I need more vacation time though.
I have 365 days of vacation.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, the thing about New England is that our season, starts at the end of May and we're done, by the 1st of October. So it's pretty, it's a pretty intense time. I mean, it's kind of crazy. We do have, I've got 2.5 feet of snow outside my house right now. So it's, I'm trying to think of warmer weather, but anyway.
Peter, I see on that picture that, that fish is pretty well lit up. I love those blue colors in there. Do they light up a little bit, or is that just reflection? What's going on there?
Yeah, that's I took that actually with my iPhone. So it's kind of, they do light up like that. Stripers are funny when they're if they're on the sand and you catch them, they almost have a ghost-like, kind of like bonefish, a ghost-like color. And then when they get out on the rocks a little bit, they get a kind of a darker hue to them. But they're beautiful fish. I mean,
they are. That's really pretty right there.
And the thing about New England is, our maximum, if the water temperature gets to be 62 degrees here, that's pretty warm. So with global warming and all the climate changes, we're getting more and more fish every summer because the fish aren't summering over in New Jersey and New York, they just keep kind of piling their way north. And which is kind of interesting. I don't know if you've followed the Miramichi for Atlantic salmon up that way, but they have a big striper run now, and they kind of don't know what to do about it because they're eating a lot of the salmon par now in the river. But you know, we've had some couple good years here, and not so good for the guys south of us though, like in the Chesapeake and stuff. They've got some problems.
Right now on our calendar, we've got a tentative trip the end of May, 19th through the 23rd. Is that a good time?
Yeah, it's a little early.
Should we move it into June?
Yeah, I would say if you could move it into June, that would be great, or July. At this point, you know, May, usually Memorial Day weekend is kind of the kickoff for everybody. And what happens is, you know, as the fish kind of keep streaming north as the summer goes on. So actually, you know, July is great, and actually in the August is good too.
You mentioned that large fish in September. Is September kind of late? Is it pretty tailed off? All those runs are pretty tailed off by then, or?
No, September's great. I
Oh,
mean, the fish start to move, you know, the first week in September or so. And then they kind of move all month. But what you have to remember is where we're located. So there's fish north of us, like up in the Kennebec, which is another 70 miles north. So you have all those fish migrating south that have to come by the coast.
gotcha.
You know, Montauk, you know, at Montauk, at the point there is kind of the epicenter, you know, in the late fall and October. They had a really good run this year, the first good run they've had in 4 or 5 years. But, you know, our only species that we have really light tackle are striped bass and bluefin tuna. We don't get the false albacore like they do down in Rhode Island. They don't really come north of Chatham on the Cape. And it's just because you get into what's called the Gulf of Maine. It's a little bit, you know, colder water.
What is fishing the coast of Maine like?
It's rocky. I mean, it's let me just see if I can go back here. It's all let me see if I can go back.
Hey, Tim, you guys fish down in the Gulf off of the Panhandle in Florida, right? Or just south of there?
Yeah.
This is nothing like that. There's small beaches, maybe I don't know, half mile to a mile long, and then you get an outcropping of rocks, fairly shallow coming in sometimes, and it's but any place close to the rocks, any, you know, and depending on which way the tide is moving, you want to fish downstream or with the tide, downstream of the tide, so that any schooling fish are coming out, and the stripers will be there on the other side of the rocks and stuff like that, just waiting for them to come through.
Yeah, this gives you an idea of the rock pile. This is right along the ocean, actually. This is in the river. That's right along the beach. So that's the beach right there. You can see the beachfront homes in the background. So it's a pretty spectacular coastline, but it's a lot different than, you know, the Gulf Coast, where it's all sandy beaches and sand dunes. So all this structure along the beach holds fish. You know, we fish it all. So I didn't think I showed you this one. This was, we were using live bait, but these fish were all on schools of bunker right out along the beach. And this day we probably got 15 fish this size. We released them all. It's pretty amazing.
Wow.
Another one.
When you throw clousers, what size hooks are you throwing them?
Number 2s.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah, I think I've got, let's see. Yeah, here's one here that I've tied up. My flies aren't pretty, but they catch fish, so.
Hey, sometimes that's the best kind when they don't look good.
I know.
Hey, that one striper that you had a guy holding up, it was huge. He was, I don't know what his name was. Anyway, I was just wondering if, what size rod did he catch that on?
That was on a 9-weight.
Oh, wow. That was a big fish too. It was before
Yeah.
you got into your tuna pictures.
Yeah, let me see if I've got it. Here it is, right there.
Yeah, that one right there.
It's a
Holy
beautiful
moly.
fish. Yeah, you can see the shoreline right behind us there.
Yeah.
And it was actually, that was in early September.
Wow.
And there had to be a school of 100 fish that size that were in there.
Oh my God.
You know, just kind of mulling around.
How long did it take him to get it in? Do you remember?
Yeah, that one was like 30 minutes to get it in.
Wow. Nice.
You know, the other thing, I can do is I don't like to do it, but I can maneuver the boat too.
Yeah.
Maneuver the boat around. But
cool.
Anyway. Yeah,
Yeah,
this
nice.
this gives you a little bit. This is kind of a funny, this is called long sand. So there's a sandy beach there, but then you can see the rocks, all around it.
Right.
So those fish love the rock sand interface a little bit. Works pretty well.
That's a nice boat you got too.
Yeah, it's a 23 Mako.
Yeah.
This is an older picture. I took the bow rail off it so we could get our fly rods down a little bit, but
gotcha.
Very comfortable to ride in. We've tried the flats boats up here. They're okay, but if you're going to fish outside along the coast, you really want something a little bit more substantial under you. Right. And then the other thing, if you notice here, I've got radar on the top because we do get a lot of fog, in right. New England, and you just got to be prepared for that.
How's the weather up there in July and August? August here is a broiler.
Yeah, I mean, this past summer it was pretty hot, but it's usually pretty nice. It's cool, very cool nights. The water is cool. It's not like you can go swimming in the ocean, trust me. I mean, I grew up at the Jersey Shore, 75-degree water. You could, jump in the ocean, feel good. Not too many people swim up here. Yeah. At least the locals don't.
We'll
anyway.
reschedule our planned trip to July and August, or
Right.
July or August.
But I'm trying to think. But this is pretty typical in
Hey, Mike, this is Tom. What I found is that July and July mostly, late June and July, is pretty humid. But you get out near the ocean and it cools down considerably because water doesn't get above 70 degrees, 65 to 70 degrees anytime.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get this. You can see this is a foggy day, but when it's like this, the fish tend to stay up on the surface a much longer, versus the bright sunshine. So foggy days can be spectacular fishing, as long as you could kind of see and find your way around. But same thing with this. This was upriver a little bit, but big estuary. Yeah, these are those bunker schools. You can see these are striped bass. They've got them all circled up. Those are all big fish.
I'd rather fish a foggy day anytime than a hot, sunny
Absolutely.
burner.
Right. Yeah, this gives you a good idea of the coastline here. So you can see the homes. This is a spot called Sea Point Beach, Maine, right outside the harbor.
I'm impressed that there's, you know, it's not cram packed with condominiums and so on and so forth. It looks pretty sparsely populated.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of interesting. This is my mother used to live over here at a place on this is called Garish Island. It's actually an island along the Maine coast, and 500 acres of it are actually in a land trust, so it'll never be built on. And then the area to the right of him is part of what's called Rachel Carson National Wildlife Reserve, so it'll never be built on. So people up here are pretty, you know, respectful of the environment and want to try to preserve, you know, the coastline. You know, so this will never change. I mean, what you see here will be here forever. I mean, other than if one of these houses gets knocked down or something, but it's not like we're going to get rampant development up here.
That's good. All right. Does anybody else have any questions? Well,
Tim, I'd just like to say again, Captain Whelan, that was a good presentation. One more thing about the coastline. There are places like Hampton Beach and things like that that you see more typical of you know, touristy areas, but up a little bit further north up the coast, you see nothing but these houses and private houses and that sort of thing. A lot of people do put their farms and other things in trust, not only along the beach and the coast, but inland as well in New Hampshire. So there's a lot of conservation areas to explore and hike and do all kinds of outdoor activities.
Yeah, just you know, we've only got less than 1 million people. We got about 1 million people in the whole state. So, you know, we have no income tax here, no sales tax. The lobster's cheap. You can have all the clam rolls you want. I mean, it's a pretty nice place to live. And you know, unfortunately, through this whole COVID, we're being discovered. You can't buy a house in Portsmouth or the area here. People are moving out of the cities, you know, north from New York and all over the place. So it's pretty interesting, you know, what's going on. But anyway, and I fished all this past summer, you know, with clients. I had a bunch of cancellations in March because of COVID, and then it just all filled in because people just want to get outside and do things. And we had, I think the whole summer from June through July and August, we had 60 cases in Portsmouth of COVID. And our positivity rate was real low. And I'm on the Portsmouth City Council. We passed the mask mandate, you know, pretty early on back in March. And it made a huge difference, you know, for us anyway. And you know, now the governor's actually done a pretty good job. Chris Sununu is a Republican. You know, he's very great guy. His dad grew up here, and he's, you know, Republicans and Democrats both, you know, like him. So anyway, and I get my shot next week, which is good news. So, and they've handled the whole. It's not like the Hunger Games here with, you know, the COVID and the shots. They've kind of really organized it pretty well across the state. So anyway, it's a great place to come and visit. You can stay in $100 a night or $50 a night bed and breakfast, or you can stay at the Wentworth and spend $300 or $400 a night. So it's got everything for everybody.
Well, thank you very much. This was excellent, and I guess lays the groundwork for some trip planning. This is great.
Great. Question for Tom Bader.
Yes.
Tom, when you said Hampton Beach, when does the music start, that fishy song?
I think
Jaws.
I think that was down further on the Cape, actually, that was filmed.
Yeah.
It's about 80 miles south of here. But
Yeah, but you know, I'll tell you, we did have, we've had quite a few white sharks here. And there's a place that's about 10 miles off the coast. We have the Isles of Shoals, and then Boone Island that has a lot of seals. I mean, when I say a lot, a couple hundred seals. And the lobstermen I know see a lot of seal carcasses out there. So we know that the sharks are feeding on them. And we did have a woman in Booth Bay Harbor, which is north of Portsmouth, about by 50 or 60 miles, that I don't know if you read. She would go out as a New Yorker, she would go out every morning and swim in a wetsuit, you know, off from her house, go out to a rock and then swim back. And she was eaten by a great white. So that happened last summer. It was quite a kind of turned a lot of heads. I know Pat Kelleher pretty well, who's director of marine fisheries in Maine. And the people on the beach, he told me when she was hit by the shark, she was thrown 8 feet in the air by the shark. It came up underneath her. And, you know, she died a very quick death, you know, from this great white. But so we do have a lot of sharks. I mean, down the Cape, if you get down to Chatham, they have shark tours. You could go and see these great whites right along the beach there. I mean, it's a real problem. And it's because they have, you know, 70 or 80,000 gray seals that are on the beach there from Chatham all the way to Provincetown. And they're there all summer long. So the dirty secret in the past used to be, you know, seals became a protected species sometime in the 70s, and the locals
The sharks don't know that.
yeah, I mean, the locals down on the Cape, there used to be a bounty on seals. So the fishermen used to kill seals in the wintertime. No one really knew this, but they'd keep the seal population kind of under control. So, but that's all over now. I mean, there's so many seals down there that you have all these apex predators, you know, feeding on them now. It's pretty wild.
Captain Whelan, I got a question for you.
Sure.
So whenever you go out fishing or with your clients or whatever, do you guys ever, and you're close to the shore for sure, do you ever throw out like lobster pots or you know, something for oysters or something like that, just as a secondary kind of thing?
You know, I used to fish, I had a commercial lobster license. So I used to fish 12 pots. So where I keep my boat in that little harbor there. So when I would boat her in every day coming in, we used to pull all the pots.
Right.
So I used to tell everybody, hey, when we pull the pots, whatever we get in the pots, you can take home with you. So on an average summer, I'd get about 250 lobsters out of those 12 pots.
Oh man, that's great.
You know, and some of them, you know, it's pretty interesting because the way the traps are designed, they only catch certain size lobsters, you know, with the way the escape hatches are and everything. But if you're commercially fishing for lobsters and you catch a female, you V-notch the flipper so that you cannot keep any female lobster or any lobster that has eggs on it. It's against the law. And the lobster guys they police that pretty heavily themselves. So we have, in New Hampshire, we have lobstermen who fish 1,200 traps to as little as 15 like I do. And then same thing in Maine, but it's to get a 1,200 trap license, it's kind of passed down between generations. And you just don't go out here and start dropping traps. It doesn't work that way. It's kind of like the mafia a little bit. You know, you have to know certain people, and, you know, you just, because one day you'll go out there and all your traps, all 12 traps will be in a big circle, all wrapped together, all the buoys, you know. So it's a pretty serious business. And, you know, I could stop at any lobster boat and buy a bunch of lobsters and pay the guy $4 or $5 a piece for them. And it's actually cheaper to do that than it is to run my 12 traps. It's kind of fun to do, you know, for a couple of years. but you start pulling them up on your boat gets dirty, there's all kinds of seaweed. You got to worry about if there's a storm coming and try to, move those traps. But anyway, it's still, the lobster fishery, in New Hampshire and Maine is spectacular. Because of global warming and the water's warming south, all those lobsters are crawling north now. So the guys in Maine and New Hampshire are having banner years. They got hurt pretty bad with COVID because of the restaurants all closing, and they lost their export market to Europe. So most of the local people kept the lobster guys in business. So we were buying lobsters all summer long. I keep a pen at my dock that I keep filled with lobsters. So when my clients get off the boat, I'll give them a couple lobsters to take home, and my lobster guys just deliver them right to that pen, and they'll stay there for weeks.
I appreciate it, Peter. Thank you.
Yeah.
Man, fish all day. Lobster and drinks at night. Sounds good. I'm in.
All right.
Way to go, Jack.
All right. Well, if there aren't any more questions, then we'll wrap our meeting up, but I've got to share screen and randomize, but thank you very much.
All right. So I'll stop sharing here. There we go.
Okay.
All right.
Awesome. Awesome presentation.
All right, guys. Thank you very much.
Yes, it was a
Thank
great
you.
presentation.
Yeah,
Thank you so
absolutely.
much.
Yeah, nice meeting you all. Thanks.
Come up for lobster.
Okay.
Yeah, come up for lobster. Forget about the
Right.
fish.
Hey, you come here, you'll eat so many lobsters. You can have it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Trust me.
Cool. Sounds good.
No, thank you.
Hey, Sheila,
Yes,
I'd like to say something to the group.
sure.
Um,
Go ahead.
if you have some interest in the South Bend, Indiana Steelhead trip, I've got to know right away. So email me, let me know, call me, do something, because there's only room for like 6 guided trips. And if you're a newbie going up there, you want to take one of the guided trips. Yeah, it's a little more
Absolutely.
expensive, but you're going to learn a lot.
Mhm.
Hey, Sheila, can
All
I,
right.
can I make
Yes,
a
yes,
small announcement as well?
sure. Go ahead.
I just wanted to say thank you to everybody who communicated with me about my wife's condition. The report is that she's doing much better. She's on a therapy that targets a gene that doesn't let the cancer grow, which is really good. And the last results that she had showed that one of the markers in her blood had gone down from like 157 to 19, which
Oh, that's amazing.
the oncologist was really happy about. So we haven't had any more tests to see exactly what's happening, but we're really hopeful and that everything's going to be okay for a while.
Well, great. Send her our best. We're thinking
Really
of
good.
her.
Thank you. And thank you, everybody, for sending me emails and postcards and cards and letters, that sort of thing. I appreciate it.
Sure enough. All right.
We're keeping her in our thoughts.
Thank you.
All right. I'm going to share the randomizer if I can do that now. Let's see here.
Yeah, and I think Ken had something to talk about too. Ken, are you still on?
Ken, you want to go ahead and do that now before I announce the door prize?
Sure, I'll give it a quick shot. Thank you. See if I can figure this out again.
Mm-hmm, sure.
Yeah, I know. Thanks, Joe.
Sorry, Ken.
The share button seems to be elusive tonight, but let's see if I can grab that and take a look at this guy. Does that look like a PowerPoint presentation?
It does.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I have not been around a bunch of people more than Northern Kentucky fly fishermen that care about each other. And I'm glad we're online tonight. I recognize that a lot of you are longstanding members. There's a few new members that were on, and I'm glad that they're joining us as well. what I wanted to talk about is the fact that in 2020, we added 51 new members to the club. And if you do the math, those new members represent 20% of the total club member units. I'm one of those new members, so I'm kind of feeling my way around. But what I'm sensitive is the fact that these new members, most of them, have not had the opportunity to be connected with each other and to be involved with each other. So a concept that we're trying to do with them is basically launch a bunch of Zoom sessions where they can get together with 5, 6, 7, 4 people just to talk about the reasons they joined the club, what they do fishing wise. And we're targeting these new members to kind of participate. And what we're doing is we've called them the class of 2020. Again, there are 50 names in this list. The ones that are highlighted in green have already participated in the session. And even though it's not exactly clear on the website yet, but we've established 4 sessions in February for us to get new members connected. And we want them to have their name green in this list. And we've got a meeting that starts tomorrow night, next Wednesday, the following Saturday on the 20th, and maybe this is a Tuesday or Thursday day. But our goal is to say, how can we reach these people? Keep in mind, I'm new, kind of making it up as I go. But our goal is to get in touch with them. And basically, I just want to tell you what a mini Zoom meeting is. It's designed to replace what would have been a traditional club meeting. This happens to be a banquet picture, and there's Sheila, and there's Charlie, and Randy, or I guess Mark, and even Walter's in that picture. But our club is based upon interacting with people. And I know one of the things that we do for new members is introduce them at the beginning of the meeting, and there's a buzz about it, and they interact, and you get a name tag and a free meal when you go to your first meeting. So these folks that have joined, they experience that. So what we're trying to do is hold mini Zoom sessions. There's Mike Arnold and my wife, Benny, and Don Lambert, and even Joe Cruz, a little different Zoom session. But in our session, we want people to introduce themselves to a small group of people, to share their fishing story, to listen to what other new folks are seeing and feeling. You know, maybe a new folk might say, how am I ever going to get connected to this group of 253 people? You know, what's it going to be like? What are some insights? And our goal is just to have fun and laugh. I know David Balas is on the call. He's been on one of these sessions last week. He was a new member. Dave got into getting a Zoom camera and a microphone to participate, and he's online tonight. So we're making progress. The question is, what can you do to help this process? You're part of our family. You're part of the 253. And I wanted to make a suggestion. If you know anyone who you invited to be a new member in 2020, could you do us a favor? Could you encourage them personally to attend one of the mini Zoom sessions? Take a look at the calendar. Again, February 5th, Friday, that's tomorrow. We've got maybe a small group of 4 or 5. Matt Breeze, who's on tonight, is going to be in that group. Next Thursday, the 10th, Saturday, the 20th, because we had some people that couldn't make the night meeting. That's a 10 o'clock in the morning meeting. And then also February 22nd. Our goal in February is to connect back up with these 50 members, and how we get them, we've got to be creative. And I believe it's the personal invitation. So this is my last thought. If you like to talk to people and like to talk to other club members, we have a list of 50 less 7 that maybe they need a personal invitation. Please call me. I'll give you a list of names, and I'd say, okay, go ahead. Let you call those 4 people or those 3 people and invite them. So that's basically our initiative behind getting people connected. If anybody has any questions, you can email me at ken@nkff.org. Where do I stop sharing? There it is.
There you go.
All right.
Good idea, Ken, and I'm thank you for doing this. It's really super.
Welcome.
Does anybody else have any other comments or anything they want to talk about? No? Somebody's talking, David Balasa, but we can't hear you. He's talking, but we can't hear him. He's muted.
Unmute yourself.
There you go.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
I just want to say I found this group, the Little Miami River Group on Facebook, and they've been posting some really good pictures of what they've been catching, even in the wintertime. And I found another group, Kentucky Waterways Alliance.
Oh, yeah.
I saw that they had done a cleanup of Banklick Creek some time ago, sometime last year, I guess. So I sent them a message telling them that I'd like to be included in the next cleanup of Banklick if they have one. And possibly some others. Looks like they do Elkhorn and several other streams.
Yep. They're a good organization. I've been a member for a long time, and they were also responsible for cleaning up Floyd's Fork down in Louisville and many others too. That's a good point. Thanks for bringing that up. Really good.
We've cleaned up. We've done the Banklick cleanup before too. We have a place where we sometimes do as a group.
I'd be definitely interested in that.
Yeah, we still do check that. You know, we put the 50-gallon drum trash bin out there, did a cleanup on the trails, and we do that. I think Wayne runs over and lets us know if there's any garbage, and then we all go out and pick up, and you know. So that's still going on. It's one of the things that we've done on.
Yeah, we need to publicize that a little better, I think.
Yeah.
Just briefly, recently, I walked this little feeder creek down at the bottom of Kyle's Lane that empties into Banklick, and there was a bunch of big trash, like a big, huge steel chest in the middle of the pool there in Banklick, and it looked like a trailer laid off on the side of the bank, and just a bunch of other stuff. And it just got me to thinking about, anything I could do to clean that thing up. I'd be interested in that.
All right. Well, I'm going to share my screen here, if I can, and try to use the. All right. Are you seeing the randomizer?
Yes, we are.
All right, here we go. Drum roll. All right. Sterling Duvall, Grant Hughes, and Mike Arnold are the three winners. So I still have to get the winners out from last month, and I'll get with Josh, and we'll pull those together and we'll get them out.
Being third, I guess I'll take the hooks.
You get a book.
Oh, okay.
Who wrote down the names?
I did.
Okay.
You did write down the names? Okay, good.
Hey, this is a great meeting and great presentation. I'm really hyped about going up there.
Yeah. It looks like it's going to be a lot of fun.
All right.
What are the prizes?
I have to give you Josh. Typically, some fly boxes and flies, usually some little accessories, and now we've got some really nice books from Ron Ellis.
Okay, great.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody. Hopefully everybody will get out there and go fishing a little bit, and we'll see them in a month. That's true. There is something going on Saturday.
Maybe.
That's at the Tailwaters, right, Mike?
Right.
Okay. All right.
All right, folks.
Take care,
everybody. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
Night.
Good night.
Right.
Yeah.